Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Well, all right. Welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass podcast with Kevin and Chuck. Today, we're going to talk surveillance. Now, I guess what brought this on is I feel like America seems to be really cool with socialism lately. It seems to be really progressing. Now, I know you're like, well, Chuck, Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, but now this girl in New York City unseating people?
Did you know that she won the district next to hers as a write-in candidate?
It's insane. I mean, just they're everywhere. People are talking about universal income, and that's a big Democrat platform. They're talking about Bezos and Obama have this big vision for everybody to, have a standard, income and all this. It's crazy. So there are some wild things going on. And it just, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, do you know what's wrong with socialism? Are you kids crazy? And I just think back, like, when I was a kid, you watch movies like Firefox. And all these movies with, behind the Berlin Wall, and you see, like, the secret police and the Stasi and in the Russian, always checking the papers. And, I was watching a movie the other night, and the guy's, like, sweeping a warehouse that he, is in charge of working in communist Russia. And the Russian police just show up and walk over to the guy and are like, get the hell out of here. And then they all drive their government trucks into the warehouse. And then they're like, all right, all you workers, get the hell out of here. There's nothing to see. And they just point their guns at him, and everybody runs out. That's really how it was. I mean,
a lot of people act like socialism is good for everybody.
Oh yeah, you just got to pay for it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The Margaret Thatcher quote of the only problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. And I mean, that's a real thing. So anyway, it got me thinking about surveillance. I mean, they had neighbors snitching on neighbors.
Right.
People talking,
It was a real 1984 type of police state.
Obama, exactly. Yeah, I can talk. Hitler used to, you'd have the, like, zero tolerance. And if anybody did anything bad, like, if anybody talks about guns or, having an ammo, you report them right away and go and turn them in. And when you do that kind of thing, the weaker-minded individual is going to, snitch on his neighbors. He's going to be like, I saw he had a gun, because they're scared. And they don't know what to do, They're like, I got to comply. And that's the thing. So I just kind of felt like it's important that we get to the bottom of, like, some surveillance tactics, some way to do some surveillance on your own, as well as maybe some counter surveillance, how to avoid being watched and observed. I know we did an episode way back on kind of Big Brother surveillance and cameras up in the sky and drones and things like that. This is a little more at the individual level. And like that. The other thing, I was reading a story about a man in Australia.
All right.
Let me tell you about this story. This
it.
was on the radio this morning. And one of those stupid, fart joke kind of radio talk shows. And apparently, this guy is just getting out of prison after serving 7 months. Turns out, you're not allowed to have sex with your horse
Oh, you can't do that.
No, it's wrong. And now, here's the thing.
Even
Here's
in
the
Australia?
kicker.
In Australia?
Even if it's consensual.
Oh, it was consensual sex.
Consensual.
What's wrong with that?
Then it's still a problem.
All
Now,
right.
you might ask, you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute. How do I know it was consensual? Well, I can tell you. Because he says the horse sniffed his crotch and then winked at him. That sounds like green light go. No, maybe not. But what I was thinking is, how do they know this guy was having sex with his horse? Then we go back to the surveillance police state. And now when you always used to be like, well, I've never done anything wrong. What do I care if they're always watching me? Yeah, but what about that time you were having sex with that horse, right?
Uh-huh.
See?
Busted.
So these are things you may want to look into. Now, you're telling me there's several different types of surveillance?
Yeah, let's run through them real quick.
All right, what do you got?
3 basic types of surveillance. Obviously, there's more than 3, but the 3 basics are stationary surveillance,
All right.
mobile surveillance, and electronic surveillance.
Okay.
All right. Stationary surveillance is when you set up shop, basically, across the street or up the street or, across the field from your target.
Right.
You're doing that to monitor a specific location. You're gonna record people coming and going. You're basically watching for particular people, or watching for a security routine. The thing about this type of surveillance is one person can do this. This is one of the few types of surveillance that one person by themselves can do on their own.
Okay.
The plus side of this, aside of that, is that you're not very likely to get caught doing this. Most of the time, people aren't going to notice you as long as you're not real obvious,
Okay.
And you're not going to if they do notice you, you're probably not going to get caught. You got to get away, and you've got to, you may be in a building or something like that where you have cover. Mobile surveillance, you need more than one person, at minimum. 5 is good, but, you can do it with 2 if you have to, and you have good communication.
Spread out, having a lot of people really helps it so that you can hand off kind of.
Right, exactly. Leapfrog back and forth and trade in and out. But, it is difficult to do. Most difficult and dangerous form of surveillance is what they consider it.
Okay.
All right, so you should allow a considerable amount of space between you and the target. Sometimes it's better to lose the target than to get caught following them. And people have a innate ability to notice when people are following them. You ever standing online somewhere or doing something and you feel like you're being watched and you turn around and somebody's looking right at you?
I think you just recently mentioned that the Indians wouldn't directly stare.
Mm-hmm.
Because they
thought
people,
you could feel it, huh?
They could feel it.
Uh-huh.
You didn't hear that? Maybe I heard it somewhere else.
It must have been somewhere else.
Yeah, they said that when they were watching people in the woods, they wouldn't stare directly at them because they thought the people would know.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. And that's, that kind of, because they were always considered like the super sneaky,
Right.
And they were like, oh, well, the Indians, they're everywhere
I've been
in
trying,
the trees.
Yeah.
Davy Crockett would be all slick, and then all of a sudden there'd be like 50 guys just come up out of the trees.
Yeah.
But that was one of their tricks, was you don't look right at them because they know. People have like an innate sense.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't know that it's to that extreme that, oh, you looked, it's ruined, but it just, you kind of know.
You know when something's off with that. Yeah. Now, one of the hard parts about this is the person that you're following. They can do basically, anything. They're unpredictable. They can get on public transportation. They can be walking on foot. They can get picked up by a third person. They can be on a bicycle. How are you going to follow somebody on a bicycle if you're in a car?
The upside is
not easy.
is, sir, social media does give you a clearer picture now. We do telegraph.
Right.
And I know in the military they always talk to us about like changing your routes or different things.
Right.
You know, different directions, take a different route home every day. But where were you going before I cut you off?
Well, that's basically it on the mobile surveillance. You know, that the thing is though that when you're following somebody, you can't necessarily predict what they're going to do. You know, you're going to try and watch for routines to begin with. You know, when they leave for work, what direction they go. But, you know, initially...
you got to get some ground.
I actually remember this. A guy was talking about how he was in a shootout. Somebody had robbed his gun store, or tried to, and got shot doing it. And he was a gang member. And he said for weeks after that, he didn't realize it, but they were parking. They'd see which direction he'd go. The next day, they'd park, 2 blocks down further and see which way he went, to basically just track his route without actually following him. So, it's one thing to keep in mind when you're trying to follow somebody or somebody's trying to follow you, is it's not always easy to follow somebody like that. And it's not always easy, if they know what they're doing, to spot somebody following you. They might not even be in a vehicle behind you. They might just be standing on the side of the street, keeping track of what direction you go. The other one I wanted to talk about for a little bit here was electronic surveillance. Now that's a little bit more of a tricky one, because you can't necessarily do that unless you have the resources. The resources that, the police use these tactics. The FBI use these tactics. I gotta say,
I was looking into
it's
a
not
lot
so easy to tap into somebody's phone, though, without a...
Right. I was looking into a lot of the, things we might purchase if we want to be the spy guy.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of the stuff is not cheap. There's amazing stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
But to really be like, Ace Ventura Pet Detective or something...
Right.
You're spending $2 or $3 grand minimum to, have a decent setup. It's not something you're going to drop $40 on some, I know Kilo 23 was showing me he had a pretty cool pen camera.
Oh, yeah?
That was actually pretty slick that he picked up for about $30.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of this stuff, you're going to, lay out some bucks. So,
well, one of the things that is $40.
Tell me.
GPS tracking device that you can put on somebody's car.
I like it.
Yeah, I was looking at that one. It was real-time tracker for a car is what it was listed at. That one was $50.
Okay.
But basically, you can just get alerts on your phone and follow the vehicle.
Now, does that have a monthly fee, or you didn't look into it?
Nope, no monthly fee.
Oh.
Just $50. Stick it on the car. GPS tracks it. You can watch on your phone where the person's going.
I like
also, a lot of people check in on social media, though. You were talking about that earlier, but just to recap, people check in where they're at on social media because they're stupid.
Yeah.
And if you wanted it, you can honestly track people just
I'm
using
on the
that.
Train.
With some of that stuff.
Look at me.
So some of the other stuff that you could do or that they could do is monitoring telephone communications.
All right.
Now, that's not so easy. If you're the FBI or the police, you can get a warrant. You can
call up
tap
your friend
in
at
calls.
Verizon and be like, yo.
But,
apparently Verizon just gave that shit to everybody. So.
Yeah, for $100 to $300, though, you can get a call recorder that you can attach to your phone or somebody else's phone where it will record the conversation. Now, that's not necessarily legal.
Okay.
Most states, it's a one-party. You have to actually be in the conversation.
In the conversation has to know for it to be admissible in court.
Right. But we're not necessarily talking about being admissible at court.
No, we're
not
just
all the
trying
time.
to find out where they're going to have
What's
the crack.
Up? Yeah.
And where I can take that $20 grand out of the back of his car.
Uh-huh. There you go. How about tracking internet activity? I think we've all been busted on not clearing our search history.
Oh, you got to watch out.
You got to watch out for that. But
so
you
what
know,
you want to do is you want to go up to Files in your browser.
Okay.
This works both with Safari or with Chrome or whatever. Click Tools, and then, or I think with a lot of they're like Manage All Apps.
Right.
And then you clear your cache.
Uh-huh.
And with Chrome, you want to go to like Tools, and then clear, all files and cookies. You click that button. Just saying, that might be something you're interested in.
Unless somebody installs a keystroke logger.
You got them.
Yep. So I was looking at some of the keystroke loggers that you could download, upload, load onto somebody else's device. There's different things. There's software and there's hardware that you can use for that. There's also one that I was looking at. I wasn't able to find a price, but it's basically operates off acoustics, and it just is somewhere in the room of the keyboard. And as the keyboard is hit, it can figure out which key is hit and record it that way, just based on the different sound or the different distance of the from the recorder. So that seems interesting. But most of them are like a hypervisor-based keystroke logger. And basically what it does is it clones the keystrokes that you're hitting, and basically brings the same screen that the person's on their computer. You can watch it on yours. There's also a kernel-based one. That one is actually a piece of software that you have to physically write into a computer. So it's very hard to install, but it's almost impossible to find. Once it's installed. Tell you,
I found along the same line. For those of you who are tech savvy and in the Apple community, and you maybe have an iPhone, right? There was a show, I don't know if you've ever heard this show, Shark Tank.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I recall that.
Guy had a product on there called Web Watcher. Well, you can buy this very inexpensively. Now, here's what you got to do. You have to acquire their email and their Apple ID password.
Okay.
All right? But if you have those two items, like maybe one of your kids, maybe your girlfriend, maybe whatever, you want to check in, find out.
We don't, at the Survival and Basic Badass podcast, we do not promote stalking your girlfriend.
No.
However.
No, that's a no-go. But what if your husband's cheating on you? Looking out for the ladies right now?
Right.
All right. So Web Watcher, for $10.83 a month, or $60 for a full year, you're going to like this one. All you have to do, you never even have to touch their phone. You just log in to your account, in your Web Watcher account. You just put in their email and their Apple ID. Every time their phone does an update that day, like at the end of the day, your phone does an update. They don't need to hook up to the computer. It just links with Apple and sends all their shit. It'll show all their text messages, all the websites visited. It'll have all their Tinder information. It updates all the apps, and it goes through everything. It gives you all the information. Deleted texts, they're there. Obviously, undeleted texts, they're there. All their phone calls, recorded, and it's all there for $10.83 a month.
All right.
And I don't think it's really that hard to figure out somebody's password.
No,
I mean,
really isn't.
if it's somebody close to you.
Right.
I mean, I might not be able to say, you know what, I could guess Putin's Apple password. Probably not. I mean, it's probably like, I'm the big king, look at me with my shirt off, something like that.
Riding a horse with no shirt.
Riding a horse with no shirt, or, Pac-Man, or, something like that. But just to say, but for like your spouse, you probably could figure it out.
Yep.
So that's something you might want to look at. I mean, I just wanted to chime in with that one since we're on computers and phones and like that.
Another thing that you can do to monitor somebody without getting involved directly with them physically is monitoring their financial transactions. Now, this isn't isn't easy. Now, I know a lot of people say it's open access, that you can look into people's bank accounts and things like that. Not really. You can't really do that. But what you can do is take their monthly bank statement out of their mailbox. You
Smart.
know, that has every interaction that they have.
Especially if it's your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, that came. Oh.
Yep. And it's the same thing with your cell phone bill. It's going to have a list of every call that you've made. So, keep track of that. If you're trying to watch somebody and keep track of who they're involved with.
I'm going to be the one who pays the cell phone. You pay for the electric bill. Mm-hmm. And we'll call it 50-50. And then when you're the master account, you can go through and check out all the phone numbers they're calling.
That's right. That's right. So, everybody's information is either in their garbage bag or in their mailbox. Garbage bags, that's fine. Yeah. Mailboxes, that's a federal crime. So just, keep your eyes open when you're doing it. Don't get caught.
I like it. There are cameras everywhere.
Everywhere. Surveillance state. That's another thing as far as surveillance goes.
Okay.
Cameras are not expensive anymore.
Like I said, $30 the size of a pen. Mm-hmm. And the pen wrote, it looked like a regular pen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yep.
It's a little thick, but I've seen thick pens.
Right. Now, CCT...
Closed circuit
television.
Yep.
Now, a lot of the times you'll see surveillance video, and it never has audio with it. That's because of wiretapping laws. Most places, they're not allowed to actually record audio.
Okay.
Like your business or street cameras, anything like that. However...
if you work for the NSA, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, and if you're a private citizen, you can also do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, now tell me more.
If you set a camera up on your property, you can record audio.
Oh.
It's not wiretapping, it's your property. It's your camera, so you're good.
Now, a lot of you guys are probably like, well, I go to Sam's Club, I see all those cameras. It's like $2.99 for maybe a 4-camera pack with a recorder.
Right.
Or whatever. I don't know. You can spend whatever you want. Depends if you want night vision. Depends, all these things. But let me also point out, you can get trail cams very inexpensively.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I actually did. And I have the option with mine. I think I spent $79 on like Black Friday. It has night vision.
Uh-huh.
What it does is it does like a infrared flash for the pictures, or it actually just shines an infrared light, and it will record for 5 to 10 seconds when it detects motion.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing is, so the coyotes come around my chicken coop. And, bam, I can see how many were out there, how big they are, what's going on, where they're trying to get in, which is kind of cool. But I also set it up on the side of my house, and I'll see, the Central Hudson guy, or that's our electric company, coming and checking the meters and things like that. And I'll catch all these things. The kids off messing around, whatever. And what's funny is, when I bought the camera, my kids told me, oh, you're so dumb. Anybody can see that. That's ridiculous. I can't imagine, anybody falling for that. You're not going to catch anybody. And I set them up to monitor my chicken coops. And then I have a kid walk over, is 3 feet in front of the camera, picking up rocks, trying to pick them up and move them around, and had no idea how I got the video of them moving all the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, but I don't understand. Where were you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the idiot.
Right.
Because it was right in front of your face.
Mm-hmm.
People don't notice shit.
Right. And especially if you when you're setting up a camera, you don't want it pointing directly at the direction that they're facing. You're not going to set it up right next to your front door.
Right.
Because you're going to see that.
Right.
You want it off to the side a little bit. You want a profile.
Now, it really depends what you're willing to spend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're willing to lay out some serious coin, like if you're Private Dick,
right.
Like I said, if you're Ace Ventura,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw a wall receptacle. This thing, I'm staring at it for 20 minutes trying to find the camera.
Uh-huh.
It plugs in and works. You can use the wall receptacle. and it's a normal, like with the two roundish kind of sockets, and there was no camera. And when you look at it, it's got like a little like circuit board on the back of it, but it's inside, under the cover plate and whatever, and you're not going to see it. And this thing has a freaking Wi-Fi camera in it, 1080p.
Really?
And I couldn't even find it. I'm like, I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense to me. But $379.
Right.
But you kind of get what you pay for,
Right. Yeah, and a lot of that stuff, I mean, if you learn how to use it, well, it's second nature setting these things up.
Right.
And
and that's it. You can get into somebody's house. You go in. I mean, how many times, I can't tell you, it's limitless on how many times I've been to do repairs or something, and people are like, oh, I don't have the key, I'm the landlord, blah, 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 and I open the door. Right. It's so easy to open doors. Some people use deadbolts. That's a different story. Deadbolts are a little more impressive, and then we got to talk about your windows and other things.
Right.
But it's not hard to go in and set stuff up. A lot of people, nobody spends the money for home alarms. I don't know. It's hit or miss. Some people do. Now they got the Simply Safe. Pretty cool. You hear all the conservative shows pushing that. I don't know.
Right, but a lot of these cameras that are Wi-Fi, I mean, you really could do that. You could set it up in somebody's house, even in their front yard, to watch them coming and going.
Right.
Without it being seen.
Now, also, I mean, you could do some old school stuff. It doesn't even have to be cameras. There's, remember, like, paying attention used to be a thing. So, I actually found a story off NPR. And, everybody likes NPR, right?
Sure.
I know you listen to a fair amount of NPR because you're strange. But they had an FBI guy on there. And the FBI actually has a special division called a special operation, like spec op people, called the SSG. Now, what SSG stands for is, I don't know, the Special Surveillance Group. Now, these guys were talking about the different examples in this article I found. And they said basically they don't go out, and so these guys are trained in surveillance.
Right.
They don't go out, they'll go out with like 5 guys, depending, what they're trying to, who they're monitoring, how aware they are, whatever. But they're not 5 guys standing together. They're all spread out, and they're going to be all over the place. Now, these guys actually carry entire wardrobes in their car.
Really?
So if I need a suit to be appropriate in this place, one guy talked about he had a bike in the back of his car in case he needed to throw on his bike messenger outfit, roll by. They had jogging clothes in case they're rolling through Central Park, something like that. They were ready for whatever comes up. This guy's turning into the gym. No problem. I'm going to be in there and we're going to get it, They talk about, like, the first guy who noticed him is going to find out something that stands out, like the bright color T-shirt, or, he's wearing the brown hat, or, he's the guy with, I don't know, the hot pink shoes or whatever. Something that's going to set you apart. And you just kind of pay attention to the different stuff that's going on. They also, like, leapfrog, so one guy will head to the next destination. So you don't have one guy following, just like you talked about with the cars parked up the road and following the route. These guys have enough manpower that they're actually able to kind of do it all in one day.
Right.
Whereas you're talking about they got to, spread it out. But this way you don't have to run or chase somebody or look like an idiot and make it obvious, that you're following them. But this is the kind of thing like they used to do in the Cold War, and it really is. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you're going to war with somebody and you're trying to outsmart them and outthink them. And people get embarrassed, I think, when they try and take things seriously. Like, you're like, oh, I'm not going to be sneaky and hide behind things because that's ridiculous. But you got to get serious if you want to,
Right. Right.
Whatever.
And,
I'm just saying these are different things you might want to think about.
right. And knowing reading about how to do surveillance and actually doing it, very different stories.
Yes. I did learn about, in one of the audiobooks I listened to, there's an app called Void Lock.
Okay.
And if you have this app, you can basically turn on like the recorder on your phone. Or maybe you make a phone call, and I make a phone call to Kevin, and then I hit this app. It just makes your phone silent and have a black screen like there's nothing there. But I'll still be connected on the phone to you. And even if they hit it and whatever, it looks like it's locked. And the only way to like open it up is they make it so you have to like put a pattern in with your fingers. Like, you know, you'll make an S or something.
Right.
And that way it'll open it up and show it. But that way you can go into the secret meeting and be like, oh, yeah, my phone's off, whatever. You can throw it in the basket with the other phones.
Right.
And then maybe somebody could be outside listening. You know, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. It's just kind of neat and interesting. Something you can familiarize yourself with. Yeah.
I mean, as far as technology goes, man, it's
limitless.
Right.
It really is.
And, you know, with surveillance, a lot of it comes down to just blending in when you're doing it physically. Just, you don't have to look like anything special. Just look like everybody else around you.
Right, but if you're not the skater, dude, like you don't want to be like the flat top guy.
Yeah.
You know, the square from, Dragnet.
Yep.
You know, you're not the Dragnet guy at the skate park, you know, with the skateboarders.
Right.
If it's not you, maybe you're the salesman walking in, pitching somebody. You know, have an appropriate thing to yourself. Now, the other thing I did learn, looking at all the different spy gear, checking out all the different stuff, is if somebody swaps out your phone for like a phone from 1982, that's something you should worry about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, if you're like, wait a minute, and you got me a new cell phone that's, you know, from like the Shandy company or, you know, whatever. Those are things that, see, I'm on to them.
All right.
I'm on to them. Now, I also was looking at counter surveillance.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of information out there on that.
If you need to, like, detect, you know, hey, like, scan for bugs, right? They used to do that in the old movies back in the day.
Right.
I don't know. I never see them do that anymore. I don't know. I think everybody just assumes they're being recorded.
Yeah. I mean, that's a safe assumption.
They go out to the woods and leave their phones, you know, we talked about in the freezer or something. And, but, so, there's a device. I saw it at spycenter.com, and they call it the Camera Finder and Wireless Bug Detector.
All right.
Now, this bad boy is $94.99. We're getting a $35 savings.
Ooh.
So right away, I mean, I'm bringing some value here, right? You don't even have to use a code. I just worked it out.
All right.
You just go there. That's what they're going to sell it to you for.
Excellent.
If you want to put in the notes like, hey, Chuck told me to come here, whatever, you know, I don't know. They won't know what you're talking about. But, you know, it'll be kind of cool anyway. Make me laugh. I don't know. But, so this thing, it's kind of cool. Now, what it does, I don't even know what it looks like. It's got a little antenna. It's got a little lens in the middle. And if you hold it up and look through the lens, it'll make any camera lens shine like a bright light.
Okay.
And even if it's like a millimeter, you know, tiny, when you scan around the room with it, it'll be bright because it's blasting out like an infrared light, and it makes them flash up.
Okay.
And that's kind of cool because it helps you spot or find any hidden cameras. Because a lot of times, like, hidden cameras don't need to be transmitting. You know, they could have the old camcorder or the Teddy Ruxpin.
Right.
And it's just recording in there. And whatever. Now, this thing,
watch for nanny cams.
For the $94, you can check for that. And it has an RF transmitter detector. So it's looking for any signal. And it'll point you in the direction, you know, where the signal's coming from. And you can follow the source. So for $94, you're kind of like little, hey, I can sweep the room and kind of check things out. But you guys got to remember, your Samsung smart TV is recording you. Your Apple phone is recording you. Your everything, anything the NSA wants to do, they're going to listen. So you're going to be like, oh, well, there's a lens on my TV. Well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't really help you, but just different things to look at. Now, you saw some things on counter surveillance. Were you going
to... Yeah, I wanted to talk about basic counter surveillance.
Okay.
If somebody's watching you, if somebody's keeping track of where you're going, what you're doing, you're never going to notice that unless you're looking for it.
Right.
You're never going to notice if somebody's watching you if you're not looking to see if somebody's watching you. Now, most of the time, you can just go outside of your house and look up and down the street and know who lives where and what cars belong there.
Right.
That's one way of basically keeping track. I always pay attention to, on my road, who's coming and going. Cars I recognize, cars I don't recognize. If somebody's parked across the street, maybe it's something to pay attention to.
Right.
The other thing is a lot of the times you can go out and just surveil your own house or your own place of business or wherever. Do it on your own. Figure out where people would be. Where would somebody go if they wanted to watch you? Keep track of those places.
Right.
A lot of the times, just having a recorder will run somebody off. Just recording, somebody's face that's there, they'll just, avoid the plans. It's a lot of what they're doing with ISIS.
Okay.
When they were scouting out places, they would just go to these places, across the street, up the street, in the rooftop, across the, the building across the street. And they wouldn't even have to do anything. No physical confrontation. Just record the people. And whatever they were planning, they're not planning it anymore because they're already busted. They already see themselves as being busted and the plan ruined.
Right.
So a lot of that sort of stuff is basically putting yourself in the shoes of whoever it would be that's watching you,
No, I like it. I mean, that's it. It's just being aware.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important. I think I don't know. One time I was at somebody's house and whatever, and they did the old like Vietnam era trick where you put the little piece of paper over the doorway,
mm-hmm.
and you open the door and it falls down.
Right.
And they think you're an idiot and you're not going to notice.
Mm-hmm.
I always put it back.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, nah, I got you. You didn't think, but...
Uh-huh.
That's the thing. I mean, you got to just be paying attention. If you're looking a little bit, you're already 10 times ahead of the average guy.
Right.
And that's what people don't realize. I mean, people are so consumed by their phones or self-indulgence or just being oblivious in life
Mm-hmm.
that just the slightest bit of paying attention. And that's kind of how surveillance works, is because nobody's paying attention.
Right.
And you just get used to having things. You're used to having your phone sitting next to you,
mm-hmm.
or your, whatever. So you don't even like notice it.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes so second nature that it's there that you don't even realize, hey, there's a camera on my tablet that's sitting there all
right.
day.
That's pointing at me.
And no, probably nobody's watching. I don't know. The NSA might be recording everything that ever goes on.
Right.
But even so, are they going to sort through it? But I got to tell you, if they sort through, they can look for keywords. They can get to things,
Mm-hmm.
And then again, it's back to that, well, I have nothing to hide. But are you having sex with a horse on the weekend?
Yeah. See,
you always think,
You didn't think all that horse porn on your phone was going to be an issue. But now you're being blackmailed.
Now, you wanted to run against Governor Cuomo?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, I know about you and the horses. And you're
busted.
Like, fuck. All right, I got nothing.
You thought you were going to make some progress in life, and that's just not the case now.
That's not the case. And so if you want to get ahead, you got to be paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to look out for you. Now, another thing, like I posted a little while ago about Massachusetts and New York calls them red flag laws. And what this is they basically, New York passed a law and Massachusetts did the same, where if teachers or anybody really, family members, feel, hey, you might not be the kind of guy who should own a gun, they can just call their local police, whatever, and they can just come take your guns without any real reason, without you violating the law. And so a lot of these articles that you're seeing around the internet say, the New Jersey's confiscating guns, Massachusetts confiscating guns, Second Amendment is void because, whatever. And it is. If they can just walk in without due process and take your rights away from you, that is voiding the Second Amendment. Well, what I was looking at that relates to the surveillance state, and this is that Stasi mindset that I was talking about, a neighbor snitching on neighbors. So one of the, a guy named Leonard Cottrell Jr., and he's in Millstone, New Jersey. And there's a big article on NewJersey.com where apparently his son was at school and was like, you know what? These security guards at our school are ridiculous and anybody could just get rid of them and they don't need anything. Well, apparently this was enough for another student to say, hey, this is not good. Let me go report it. The police go over. Oh, we want to search your kid's bedroom. Oh, well, we want to search your husband's bedroom and look in there. Oh, my Lord, he has guns. We're going to take them. And apparently this guy was like, no. You're not going to take them. And this isn't cool. And he ended up being able to work out a deal. But this is the kind of slippery road that we keep going down. We just get a little further and further to the edge.
Right.
And that's what I'm worried about. Every time, Glenn Beck had that book, The Overton Window. And it's a marketing idea of you just keep nudging people in the direction.
Right.
And the Overton Window was supposed to be, what are people willing to accept? You nudge people until it's completely normal to pay money for bottled water.
Right.
That they can get out of their tap for free. You just push them until, and then all of a sudden that's the societal norm.
Right.
And that's what I'm afraid of. The only upside, I did see a win on the internet for gun owners. The NRA posted that the 9th District Court ended up saying that it's illegal for California to limit you to 10 rounds in a magazine.
Really?
And that's unconstitutional. If that's the case, I hope that New York is soon to follow. Because I feel like we have the same constitution.
Yeah, it applies over there, I think.
I mean,
think
if it applies
to
on
California
the left coast,
and the right.
then... So maybe that's a thing. I don't know. We're going to wait. I'm going to keep you updated on that. You guys know you want to have badass firearms. You want to build up cool stuff. Have a supply. Be ready to defend America. Be a true patriot. Although I did hear, if you vote Republican, you are not a patriot.
No.
Is what they're advertising now. So, because after Trump did whatever he did this week, if you dare support a Republican,
you hate
you
America.
are not a patriot. You hate
no,
America.
sir.
But anyway, if you are a patriot and you feel, hey, I need the best firearms, the coolest things out there, I want to be up on my technical gear, you may want to check out TAC Pack. Now, they have cool shit for $49.95 a month. They will send it right to your house. New exciting prizes every month that way exceed the value. Now, if you're somebody like me who's possibly spending anywhere from $100 to $300 a month on gun parts that randomly come into the mail, something like TAC Pack could really cut down on that budget.
That's right.
And give you the upper edge. And the cool thing is these guys actually know what they're after. So they pick out cool gear that's going to get you, the stuff you want. Some stuff I didn't even know I needed. That's how cool it is. That's like Prime Day,
Something I didn't even know I needed.
I didn't even know I needed that, but here I am. So you use code BADASS, you're going to get a free gun cleaning mat. Otherwise, you know what else?
What else?
I wanted to tell you, I was excited. 3 different people signed up for Patreon this week.
Oh, nice.
They want to support the Survival and Basic Badass podcast. They appreciate the fun banter that we have. Some people find value in what we say.
We are funny.
We are funny. You guys know who I'm talking about. And also, if you support us on Patreon, we might have a cool little patch we might be able to send out to you.
That's right.
And you could step up your little survival gear. I'm just saying, just be like, hey, I'm a badass. Are you a badass? Maybe you show your support. This is the way to do it. So with that, stay safe, and we will talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.